From the 6th to the 27th of October, it will take place in Rome the extraordinary assembly of the Synod of Bishops for the Pan-Amazon region. This is an advisory body for the Pope, and after their meeting they prepare normally a document, and the Pope issues an apostolic exhortation about the matters that were discussed. The famous case, recent case, was the apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia after the two synods on the family. In this case is an extraordinary assembly of the Synod of Bishops about the region of the Amazon, but this has an universal dimension. In the first place, because the proposals being made for the ordination of older people, married older people, viri probati, no? So will be a way to abolish celibacy, at least in one region of the world. And obviously, people would like to extend this exception to the rest of the world. But it has also a universal dimension because of the heresies being proposed. Cardinal Walter Brandmüller, speaking about the instrumentum laboris, that means the working document for the Synod, he said it contains heresies and it is an invitation for an apostasy. Indeed, the Bishop of Essen, His Excellency Franz Joseph Overbeck, who is one of the financiers of many missions in the Amazon, he said this synod represents a rupture and nothing will be again the same in the church. And it is true, if you read the preparatory documents, you will see that there are many ruptures. The main rupture is a theological rupture, because the instrumentum laboris and the other preparatory documents, they take the principles of Indian theology, indigenous theology, and of eco-theology, and transpose into a magisterial document. What are these theologies? It's nothing but a new version of liberation theology. If you take the traditional theology, it's based on the idea of God given by the Bible, God as a creator and as a transcendent being. For liberation theology, God is an immanent being, a kind of divine energy present in the whole universe, and who expresses himself not in revelation, but in history, in historical movements, and particularly in liberation movements. After the collapse of the Soviet Union and the condemnation of liberation theology by the Holy See, liberation theology was very much without any prestige. So they shift into new forms of theology, among them Indigenous theology and eco-theology. They made two paradigm shifts. On the one side, they moved the battlefield from the economy to culture. And in the second, then changed the revolutionary movements that advanced the revolutionary process. In the past, were the poor. Liberation theology was very much concerned with the poor. Now, they are concerned with the called visible minorities. Visible minorities, so will be the immigrants, LGBT people, and then the Indians, and in this case is indigenous theology, but could be nature. The new oppressed section of the world will be nature, and then it's eco-theology. So, but they give then a total anti-Catholic concept of God. God will be just a kind of divine energy in the whole nature. And this is very much inside of the preparatory documents, because they take the cosmovision of the indigenous people and present this as a model for the whole world. They are the ones who really respect nature. They are in their traditional wisdom, but this includes, in reality, their religion, which is a pagan religion. For them, the spirits inhabitate the rivers, the forests, the mountains, and should be worshipped. But this is the old paganism, like the old paganism in the Old Testament. So, in fact, what the Laboris instrument is bringing back is the old paganism. And that's why it represents, in reality, an apostasy. And the second rupture is an anthropological rupture, because all civilizations and cultures in the past, until now, have been opened to the universal, to other cultures. But the new anthropologists, they want the Aborigines people to remain enclosed into their own culture and to practice a kind of apartheid, rejecting everything from a different culture. So, in the name of inculturation of the faith, these neo-missionaries want that the Indians remain enclosed into their culture, and Christianity cannot corrupt their original culture. The president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, said what they want is to transform the Amazon into a human zoo. That is the reality. And this is a real rupture, because some of those cultures have a very anti-natural, sinful elements, like, for instance, the acceptance of infanticide. So, in the name of the respect of culture, they say we should accept infanticide. We cannot judge the culture of the indigenous people with our European Christian values. When a member of parliament in Brasilia tried to pass a law forbidding infanticide among the indigenous tribes in the Amazon, an anthropologist, and supported by the missionary commission of the bishops of Brazil, said that this should be accepted because it's much more damaging for Brazil the killing of a culture than the killing of little infants in those tribes. So, but this is a rupture with civilization, as we understand it, and has always understand it. And it's a rupture also in the concept of mission, because instead of evangelizing them, we're just reaffirming their pagan values and their cosmovision. Plus, it is a rupture in ecological terms. In the Bible, it is said, grow and multiply and dominate the earth. And since then, the men are the king of the universe, and we embellished and we developed. But according to the eco-theology, we are just part of an ecological chain. We are not the rulers of the universe. We are just one element as important as any insect inside of the of nature. So there is a kind of divinization of nature, and this is also a rupture with a Catholic understanding of the proper relationship between man and creator. There is also a socio-economic rupture. The Instrumentum Laboris defends the collectivism of the tribal life. They oppose the tribal life where everything is in common, everything must be done by all and in a general consensus, oppose this against our Western civilization where the individual and his freedom and his autonomy is very much promoted. But then if you apply this tribalistic concept of society, what you will have is a totalitarianism far more aggressive for the individual than the Soviet Union, because it's the dictatorship of the micro group, no, against the individual. No? And so this is for the person even more damaging than having the state controlling your life. Now, that is why against all this rupture, the theological rupture, the anthropological rupture, the missionary rupture, the ecological rupture, and the socio-economic rupture, Catholics must react, informing themselves about what is going on. I suggest you to watch the Pan-Amazon synodwatch.org. It's a site specialized in monitoring the synod, and also by prayer, so that the bishops of the Catholic Church don't fall in the errors that are promoted by the preparatory documents, and that later on Pope Francis reject those errors in the apostolic exhortation he will write after the synod.